About how did things change for you?
Well, it's really amazing that in the past, the old programming was just making me see myself in one more failure. Like, how am I going to do this? I didn't picture myself obtaining what I wanted. Once I learned the techniques that you showed me, that question was answered. So I learned, visualize that I was having that job, that I was having the good check with a good salary, that I was helping my family, that I was giving the money that they needed, my children going to university, my pantry full of food, my car full of gas. So the way the pictures came to my brain, now it's in a positive way. Instead of, oh my God, I'm going to run out of gas and I'm going to be stuck in the middle of somewhere.
So how much better did it feel in your body to start thinking about and imagining yourself having what you wanted? How did that feel?
You know, for me, there's not how much better. It's just totally another world. You feel good. You feel good, period. You feel good and you move toward that goodness.
So what happened? Tell us. I want
well,
details.
Now I have 2 jobs. Now I can pick from whatever I want to do because now I'm clear what I want. Now I have all the resources, money, car, gas, friends, contacts. When before I was just ostracized in my own misery. And misery is a big word, but we allow that to come into our lives. Now I'm going towards happiness, towards goodness, and thank you, Mitch, for showing me all this that is real.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you ended with that you said that's real, because once we step into the truth about who we really are, I am a success, I am good enough, of course I'm wanted. That is really who we are, isn't it?
Exactly.
You know? And when you said, yeah, I felt that sense of being one with the universe, that's because you are. And when you eliminate all that negative thinking, you get to have that experience of more of who you really are.
Right. With these techniques and with the sessions that we've been doing, it really, a marvelous thing. It's a joy to be alive and to ride in this life. It's for once in my life I can feel that, not just say the words. I feel that.
I mean, what I hear you saying is everything starts to really change, and one of the reasons that happens, we'll talk about hypnosis and hypnotherapy and how that all works, but you actually change your whole point of attraction. All those thoughts, I'm not wanted, I'm not good enough, we're actually vibrating. There's a frequency that happens, and we're attracting to us and being attracted to people, opportunities, situations that support all that negative thinking, so that your subconscious mind can be right and see, it's true, I'm really not good enough, and I'm really not wanted, and I really am a failure. And people will show up. It's called transfiguration. People show up in your life to actually support all those limited ideas, those beliefs we're holding about ourselves.
Exactly.
So what I'm hearing you say is my whole point of attraction changed. So not only am I getting jobs, but I know we've talked about this, and you just feel better, and you feel happy, and your family, and everything is shifting and changing.
In general, my health is improved. My point of attraction is improved. And finally, you know, I wasn't born in this country. I knew from years ago that my transformation was going to happen out of my country. And you're part of it.
Well,
and
I'm happy to be part of it. An A+, Parrish. You know, I'm thrilled for you, and I just, like I said, this is why I breathe air, to hear these stories. You know, one of the other reasons that we were going to do this interview is because when we were talking about this in the store the other day, you said you had some questions that you wanted to ask me, and I thought, you know what, hold those questions and we can do it on the air.
Do we have 2 hours to ask you?
Yeah, well, I know I could probably talk about this for 10 hours, and I have. So yeah, what did you want to know about?
You know, the first question is, I know for a fact that what I've been practicing, but I want you to help me put in words, like in phrases. No, what is hypnosis?
We kind of just relax that critical faculty, that chatterbox in our head, so that we can have more access with the subconscious part of our mind, where, like you've experienced, that's where we hold all those ideas, those limited beliefs, personal lies, I like to call them. That's where we hold all of that, in the subconscious mind. So once you bypass that chatterbox in our head, we have access to all this information that will help us to move forward in our lives. So it really is just a nice deep relaxation so that we can find all those thoughts. Some of those ideas we're conscious of as we grow up, as we move through life, but a lot of them we don't want to feel, we don't want to think, so we repress them and push them down into the subconscious. And again, with hypnosis, we just have access to that.
Right.
The subconscious mind is about feeling. And behind that feeling that we never want to feel again is that yucky thought, I'm a failure, I'm not good enough, I'm not wanted. So we'll do anything. Subconscious mind is a survival. It's the part of us that keeps us surviving. And one of the mechanisms that does that is moving us from pain to pleasure. So whenever all those yucky thoughts begin to emerge, we're getting that feeling that goes with it, and the first thing we want to do is push that down. We want to move from pain to pleasure. So we act out. We move into action so we don't have to feel that. We smoke, we drink, we do anything we can think of in that moment to push those feelings down. And again, I've said this before on the show, your subconscious mind will kill you to survive. People will eat themselves to death, drink themselves to death, smoke themselves to death, just to avoid that feeling.
Exactly.
So like you said, slow down. That feeling, it's just a thought. It's just a thought, and it's never been true about you. That's what we call a personal lie, limited self-thoughts, because it never really was true about us. You know, we just accepted or decided that when we're kids, you know. Some event happens in our life, and we have a story, perception, and interpretation of that event when we're really young, before we have any filtering system, and it's always going to be about us. So whatever happened in that moment, it was the perfect decision. I'm not wanted, I'm not good enough. In that moment, for that little kid, it was the perfect decision to make to move forward and survive, you know. So the event happens, we create some story we tell ourselves over and over again. It's a thought that we tell ourselves again and again. That thought becomes a belief. That belief is going to drive your emotions. And emotions are energy that has to move. There's only one thing energy knows how to do, and that's move. So it needs to move, and it's going to move you towards the outcome. So if your story about the event is that it was a negative event, you know, something happened and I made up in that moment that I wasn't good enough, that's going to feel pretty bad. That emotion is going to drive the outcome, and it's going to be a negative outcome. So the cool thing about hypnosis and why this works so fast, like you've seen, is because we can't change the event. We can never change the event, and that's okay. It doesn't matter. 50% of the event that we remember is fact, and 50% of it we're just making up. It's just fantasy. It's just perception of a little kid. We can't change that, but we can change the story we tell ourselves about it. Right. So if we change from I'm not wanted, I'm not good enough, to I am wanted, and I am good enough, and I am a success, again, that feels better. Everything starts shifting and changing and changing and shifting, and your inner creative mind will create every opportunity for you to move towards that. And your whole point of attraction, again, changes. Now you're attracting people into your life that are in situations and opportunities that are going to support the truth about who you are. And that's why it feels so good, and people just get happy.
Exactly. And there's another question I've been asking myself. You know? It works for me. I'm so happy. Does it work for everybody? You know,
my experience is that it doesn't, no, it doesn't work for everybody. No, nothing works for everybody. But the key to hypnosis, it works for pretty much anybody who is really ready to change.
Exactly.
It's really about readiness for change. You know, when clients come back to me after a first or second session and they're not doing what they came up that they need to do to move towards what they're wanting, happiness, joy, well-being, if they're not doing what they need to do to get there, then I just tell them, you know what, this isn't going to work for you right now. Come back, let's talk about this when you know that you've suffered enough. When we know we've suffered enough and we're really ready to change, all we really have to do is change the thought, change our belief system, change that story we're telling ourselves, and everything starts to shift. So it doesn't work for everybody, but if people are ready to change, what my experience is, the results are quick, almost immediate, and just overwhelming. I mean, people just have amazing experiences.
That phrase really empowered me. How much suffering is good enough. Really, when you said that phrase to me, instead of putting me down, it empowered me. Okay, I said to myself, it's now it's good enough.
Exactly. And I know even with myself, I'll be doing something that I know or thinking thoughts that I know isn't getting me to what I want, you know, and I'll start getting that frustrated feeling and I'll think to myself, okay, when am I going to know I've suffered enough? And if the answer is right now, then I will choose to do something that will be moving me towards what I'm wanting in my life, you know.